for this problem, we're sort of asked, well, let's say you have to pick a temperature, pressure, and catalyst. And for the temperature, let's pretend you have 4 options. For the pressure, you have 3 options. And for the catalyst, you have 2 options. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to pretend that you end up running 4 different experiments, okay? So in this case, we're going to pick 4 different temperature, pressure, and catalyst options. So this is kind of like playing, if you're to, play poker and you're to play 4 hands of poker at the same time. Now, the question begins by saying, well, we're going to assume that for each of the 4 experimental runs, that you get let's say, a different temperature on each run, okay? So what that would correspond to is we're going to sort of focus in on just this column, okay? So maybe in the first experiment, you use temperature 1. On the second experiment, you use temperature 2, temperature 3, or temperature 4. So this is one different way that you can get 4 different temperatures. Alternatively, you could go T2, T1, T3, T4, all right? Or you could go T2, T3, T1, T4. And if you go through all these options, right, you're basically finding all the permutations of T1 through T4. So my first question is, how many different permutations is this? All right, so you can calculate the number of permutations of the ways you can get T1, T2, T3, T4 to appear one time for each of these experiments. All right, so one time here, one unique one there, one unique one there, and one unique one there. Okay, so we figured out what's going to happen with the temperature. Next, let's focus in on these 2 guys, all right, the pressure and the catalyst. And the way that we're going to think about this is, let's pretend we fixed the temperature, T1, okay? If we have T1, the question becomes, how many different pressure and catalyst combinations can we come up with? So for the pressure, we have 3 different options, and for the catalyst, we have 2 options. So what that tells us is that for a specific temperature setting, we have 6 different options. All right. So again, for T2, we're going to have the same thing, 3 different options here, 2 different options here. That gives us 6. All right. So now think about it this way. How many different ways could we pick out what T we had here, here, and here? So these are the number of permutations. Right? What we're going to then do is multiply that number times 6, because 6 is the number of ways that we can get pressure and catalyst combinations associated with that particular temperature setting. So if you multiply those 2 numbers together, that should be your answer.